And we are back Friday for that winter carnival action that we have going on for tomorrow, Keith. But the card, on surface level, it was a bit easier than last week, but taking in some of these picks from you, myself, and Mackenzie, we're all over the board on some of these picks.
Yeah, I actually talked to Dan Illman a little bit. He's going to be with us tomorrow.
Yes.
Just a little prelude to that. And we're kind of all over the map with selections today. And I saw it as that kind of card, very intriguing, a kind of card I think you can dabble, bet a little, maybe make a lot, and that's the angle I'm going to take to start the weekend here on this Friday at Laurel. A little bit of weather maybe looming tomorrow early morning, but we'll deal with that later. But today it's really nice. And this track's been fast, playing well. Maybe a slight outside tinge I thought on Sunday's card, but. Yeah, this is going to be interesting, the payouts we see today.
Let's go ahead, since you were speaking of the weather earlier, take a look at that track. Of course, Keith, just to kind of continue that conversation, looking good. No training tomorrow morning, just as a slight precaution. We do have some overnight snow possibly coming in, but of course we have the right crew here and we're optimistic about running tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, our crew does a great job here, year in and year out, no doubt. And like I said, we've got the Winter Carnival. I just saw before, a little taste of New Orleans to mix in as well. So I'm ready for a little gumbo. I hope that's on the menu, some jambalaya tomorrow, but keep us warm. But yeah, looking forward to the weekend.
If they don't have it, they'll make it for you, Keith.
Fritchie, General George.
Yes. 2
other steaks, the Campbell, John B. Campbell, and Nellie Moore. So don't miss out on tomorrow's card.
A good weekend of racing all around here. Let's start things back here at the start of all of this with that early pick 5 and a maiden claiming 30,000. A good race to start off this card. 6 furlongs on the dirt for the straight 3-year-olds. Keith, you have the number 5 on top without pretense in the barn of Lacey Gaudette Thais Pustina.
Yeah, just talk about that early pick 5 to the low takeout. Again, another big payout Sunday, our last day racing, 6,900. Kicked off with Desvio from Madison Myers, a big race from that one. Looked great on the track, rolled wide and went on with it. But, yeah, so don't miss out on these pick 5s, pick 4s at Laurel. They've consistently paid well. So looking at this opener, I thought this was a little bit of a scramble. You've got a horse off a break here and a barn change. Lacey Gaudette, we've talked ad nauseum. This barn has just had a tremendous roll over the last several months without pretense. Last seen in September at Timonium against Catahoula Moon. So running against the right kind of horses, flashed at a little speed, off a break, a drop in class, Lasix going on. Lots to like. I think we'll be forward. Stellar's in charge. The word was out on that one in debut. That Helen Marshall, Kieran McGee went in and claimed for 20. A little touch up here, I think, might be the target. I think Buckin' Dreamer, if he breaks, he broke last time, is going to be involved in that flow. And maybe even Buddy's a Charm, adding the blinkers on, who kind of was in a pretty quick opening quarter and a half for that maiden special weight last time out. I'm looking for without pretense. A horse, that was well meant, its first 2 starts to maybe sit a little bit off of this pace and make a move into it. But I think a pretty wide open opener for this Friday card.
Absolutely. And on top of that, Linda Albert was doing well with her first-time starters on the turf, specifically in this summer year. So I could see the way that storyline started for this one first time out, as Keith Few still goes 5-2. 4-3 here for that start of the early pick 5.
Square Slice, a horse I think also will benefit from the flow. Vince Brashali did race with Lasix last time out. We didn't get that note, I guess, till late. We got it in there now, so the next time you see it, it'll be in there for the January 13th race. Muddy surface, good surface, its last 2. You go 3 back at 50 buyer, yeah, that'll work closing in against the likes of Mr. Agent. This one is going to like the flow up front. I like this one to rally into it.
And we go on to race number 2. That does start the early pick 4. But, Keith, you have an early pick 3 for us today. A little bit, as you mentioned, a little bit of a scramble for the card.
It was one of those situations, Callie, where, we're all over the map. Ticket was going to be awfully high. And I don't want to go that way just yet to start the weekend. Save some money. Hopefully we can hit this, and it'll propel you to bigger and better things. But 3-6-7 to get you started. We're 3 deep. 3-6-7, race 3 with the 2, 3, and 4. Kings River I like in there a little bit. In the dance with some trouble. And race 4 with the 1, 4, and 8. Double up Damon Dilladovico there with the 4 and the 8. Toss in a little Trombi. There you have it, $13.50.
I like the way you start that, and I like the way you kind of set it up for looking at the weekend as a whole, just trying to really give you some value and some structure here. We tend to give you just that in our picks in race number 2, claiming 5,000, going 7 furlongs on the dirt, scratching the floor. Keith, you have the number 3 on top. This is Patriotic Party.
Yeah.
Damon Deal DeVico, Andreas Chavez. Andreas Chavez has been on a roll lately.
Like the way he rides, and he will rate a horse well. He'll get a horse to save some ground. He navigates a trip. And what I like about it, my Patriotic Party, you look at his last number, 49 Beyer, nothing's going to jump out at you. He's going to have to improve a little bit. But through the binoculars, watching this horse, the late life, he got this horse to do something he hasn't done in a while, and that's finish. He's back on him, can move up. Royal Spy, I know he kind of dropped in there. He's kind of an open 8 kind of horse when he's right. So I look at that condition nickel type of race last time. I thought it was good. Patriot Party, he's the only one I think that's won at 7 furlongs out of this field. If I'm looking at everything correct, Callie. 2 wins out of 5 starts. There's flow in here. The Cairo Kid, fresh. Helms Deep, we know is going to go from the outside. Patriotic Party has to move up a little bit, but proven at this distance. Got the right kind of rider. He's on a roll right now. I think this horse can close into it. Maybe not win it. Let's key top and bottom, and it's exact as at a price. I think we're going to get a good number on this horse.
Shoot the messengers you have underneath in your picks for Mohan and Torrey Alba, coming from that 8,000 to the 5, lateral move, stretching it out, logical choice.
I think this horse you have to take. Even Dan had noted talking to him. This horse finished well and galloped out okay. Been a while since a win, no doubt about it. But this is the right kind of field for this guy to get back on track. Mohan been doing well, hitting at a good percentage. Cairo Kid, he may be an all or nothing type. When he's right, he's really, he can be really good at this condition. We've seen in the past he wins it when they get aggressive. Comes back here off the claim, freshened up, has the speed. He can get 7 furlongs against this group. I look for him to prompt Helms Deep. Maybe he's even quicker. He'll stay around for the trip. Tauber, question mark for me. Last race, I expected more, didn't fire. Anybody else? I think that's about it. I just think Patriotic Party, it might be a little bit of a reach for me, but I'll take the shot.
Why not? I like your angles, and I like your reasoning there as your top selection with Patriotic Party to start your early pick 3. Race number 3 is claiming 40,000 a mile. Second wire on the dirt for these straight 3-year-olds. Keith, you have the number 2 on top in Kings River. You mentioned this earlier on your ticket in the barn of Linda Albert and Forrest Boyce.
I thought this horse ran pretty good. I know it was beaten 8 lengths. Levin kind of got out there, controlled it on an inner part of the racetrack day. You wanted to be there. This horse took some pressure, kicked away. Kings River churned on and was 3 to 4 wide against the grain of the racetrack. I think coming back to a fast track, he's got a good number to go back to, that 68 Beyer in a race with Massacato. I think these two get a little bit of relief maybe against this group. I think Kings River can rally into it.
There we like it, and I like it. Returns back to a fast track here today, proven, and you go back 29th of October. Hello, that's the race you need to go off of. Fast track, 7 furlongs. There we have it.
Yeah.
Fits a little bit better here. You talk about the number 4 as well in the dance. Let's take a look at that last effort with Jerry Robb, Alexander Crispin, and not the best of luck.
No. Out of that same race, the Levin, we've got 4 runners coming out of this particular race. You can kind of watch everybody. There's one Wayfarer down to the inside, but in the dance, got in a little trouble early on, gets in a little trouble here about the 5/16 pole, is under a ride, not kind of really going anywhere, but as soon as he was getting ready to make the move, his momentum did get stalled there as the leaders continue on. He's going to work outside, and then this last 3/16 of a mile was able to kind of make that steady progression between horses. Not going to win it or anything like that. Outside of him is Kings River. He gets kind of sandwiched there. A little drifty from the horses around him, and had to steady there, but I thought continued on well. Working out a race 2 back against the grain of the track on the 30th. He'll finish in here. He's going to have to move up a couple lengths, I think, to beat these horses. I like your price shot in here on top.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and that's one of the things that I kind of look at. In fact, I do need to readjust some of my picks. I did some rehandicapping last time, so I need to get the other notes out. But what my argument about this guy is that he got so broken up from that. he's kind of he's just that grinder style, so he can't have his momentum broken at all. On top of the fact that he's coming from way off of the pace, it's just not going to help him. It's not going to help him out at all. That's where I said, hey, they need to push this horse up a couple of lengths. I have the same thoughts as you do on him for In the Dance, so you'll get my updated picks since I don't have my notes.
Okay.
I just need 30 seconds to open up those notes about that. But no, I get it. At a price, I could definitely see it as we're coming. Let me see. All right, I'm there. Let me get to my notes and what I have on this horse. I switch things around. I go 3-6, 4-2.
Okay.
So with what I saw in that effort last time out, I said, hey, for me, I'm not convinced enough. This one needs to be pushed a couple of lengths up.
Yeah, I thought Massacato for Cal Lynch recently, $1,000 race winner, right? Okay,
Yep.
I'm sure he's won a lot of $1,000 in the past, but yeah, this one I think is going to have to be thrust into the race a little bit. I know we don't have the 5 in our picks.
Right.
Was in that race, did all the dirty work, stretching back out. This is a race. I've got it written up top. If you can afford it, and maybe your early pick 4s or a pick 3, hit the all button. You can make a case because Break the Change is the speed, and I think he will clear away from this field, gets a little brave. He just faded very late last time.
Exactly, and then you have Carlos Mencia coming off of a win. That barn's starting to heat up a little bit again there. So there we have it, 2-4, 3-6, and I actually do go 3-6, 4-2 in this race. We'll update that for later. But anyway, let's go on to race number 4 that starts the Rainbow Pick 6. We have a carryover from last weekend. You mentioned that pick 5 was hit, but we do have a carryover, I believe, over a little bit over $5,000 for that Rainbow Pick 6, of course. And we have my ticket to go into that. Now, unfortunately, I like too many horses. I couldn't go cheap on my ticket. I absolutely suggest splitting this with a friend, Keith. I love your way you go about your tickets and how you but when you're kind of stuck on the Rainbow Pick 6, you're kind of you have to do what you have to do. So this is a card where I suggest absolutely you split it with a friend. I go a bit deep on this race number 5. I go 4 wide in that claiming 10,000. The Rainbow Picks, it's the Rainbow Pick 6, but also race number 5 always seems to be a little bit of a scramble for me in these past couple of weeks. $43.20. Let's go ahead to race number 4 that starts all of that in this claiming 40,000 for the girls, the straight 3-year-old fillies. Keith, you have the number 1 on top. Call another play for Mike Trombetta, Jamie Rodriguez. You mentioned this one on your ticket. Let's go ahead and take a look at that effort from last time out on a good surface.
I think better than the 37 buyer, no doubt. Call another play, off the pace, gets in a little trouble, moves up kind of behind rivals early. And you look, it's the last kind of eighth of a mile that intrigues me. I had that trouble earlier, drops inside. Lady Charlotte had everything her own way this particular afternoon. But this one just finally starts getting it in gear, 8th pole. Finishes up pretty well under a steady hand ride. We've got J-Rod on today. Looking at the breeding, this horse can handle a route of ground. You've got half the Continental Congress. It's another Trombetta runner that's been okay going long. Moving back up, has to move back up in figures, but looking at the class and who is she run against? I mean, full play, determined driver, Cap Classique. Confidence builder there, stay out of trouble. Another price shot, I'm going to kind of throw the line out and hopefully we can catch something. But I think back to a fast track, you might see some improvement for call another play. I think Damon, right here, we've got a stat on Damon, and it encompasses both horses, right? Neolithica and Mama's Lino. Last 3 years on the dirt, there's a strong angle. 7 for 20, 35%, 11 for 20 in the money with the 3-year-olds. Second time Lasix, and not talking about the firsters that get it in the debut. No. This horse didn't have it in debut, probably their second start. So it's been a while now with the new rules. Second Lasix, 261. Both of these horses okay. Neolithica is the only 3-time winner here, right? Is on a good little streak for Damon in Stormy Stables. Draws well outside, positional speed. Really eager to the wire, I thought, but has been running. If there's any little hiccup from a betting standpoint, you're trying to take a jab. She's been running great. Really like her. Right. She's had the better part of the racetrack each time. She's been able to kind of control things. She might get a little bit more pace pressure. Not saying she can't rate, because I think she can, and move into it. Mama's Lino out of that barn as well on the 14th. Definitely against it. That was an inside day. broke well, was 3 wide pretty much every step of the way and just turned on. She's bred to go a little bit longer. You look at the siblings out of that mare Best, was it Best Sugar Daddy Ever, whatever, for Brittany, I think,
Yep.
has won a couple times at 2 turns. If she's going to fire her race, I think it's going to be today, able to save some ground and roll into it late. 1-4-8-6, and a really tough, another tough race, race 4.
There we have it. Race 4 kicking off that Rainbow Pick 6. Race number 5 starts at the late Pick 5, and it is in this claiming 10,000 for the 4-year-olds and up, which have never won 2, going 7 furlongs on the dirt. What a distance that we're covering today here, Keith. Yeah. You go with the number 7. Let's go ahead and take a look at Federal Offense from that effort last time out.
Yeah, this was the best. I think one of the best efforts to date. He's had 20 races to get through that 2-in-life condition.
Right.
I've got a 1 for 20, Callie, and a 1 for 17 is my top 2 picks. But Federal Offense, on a day where that inside was good, really cruises up and looks home free. Opens up a couple lengths top of the stretch, and not that he kind of gets, I think, the staggers. He's trying. I mean, he's 5 clear of Great Call, who came back to run okay, and Strong Finish, who comes back to win for Clicera. So Federal Offense, if today isn't the day he gets the second win, I don't know when it's going to be. I like his positioning outside. A good break will put him into the race. I think he's got a little bit, maybe a touch more tactical speed than West Star. We shall see. But Federal Offense, my top pick.
You have been chasing this horse for so
yes,
long.
I have.
I feel like your faith in this horse is going to get him across the finish line
I'm
first.
going to try. I'm going to try to will him home.
I am rooting for you. You also go with the number 2 underneath in West Star, Machado, Barbosa, first time against winners here today. Logical placement of this individual.
Well, we know how this game goes. When these trainers get hot, you got to kind of stay with them.
Absolutely.
This barn is very hot. West Star worked off a good duel last time. Will things be as contested up front today? I'm not so sure. But again, keying up against the right kind. Rennie came back to run well last. Jump start, a decent number, a number that works. They look like the 2. You've got kind of the stranger, the horse I couldn't quite figure out. Never Coast transitioning turf to dirt off a break.
Phil Capuano, 37% from the turf to the dirt, 7 for 19 as of lately. We talked about rolling on the bandwagon, and that's the bandwagon that I chose here for race number 5, kicking off that late Pick 5. And we'll be right back after this commercial break for the rest of Friday's card.
Thoroughbred Racing is taking vital steps to make our sports safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
And our jackpot is started in race number 6, a starter optional 12-5, 7 furlongs on the dirt again for the 4-year-olds and up. Keith, you have the number 7 again, lucky number 7 for you with Musical Heart for Corrales, Torrey Alba. Winner last time out. Let's go ahead and take a look-see.
I'm going to try to run it right back here. This horse was scratched a couple races ago. Might have been in Bellsbury if I remember correctly. Comes back for the open nickel. Jacobson to Corrales. We've talked about it a couple times as well on this show. This angle has been working, and when these horses kind of get going, they seem to be able to step up, hence go into that starter competition, and that's what we're going to get today. This 9-year-old really at no point looked like a loser last time out. Sits chilly, 3 deep, makes the bid, and goes away with authority the last 1/8 of a mile. Again, you're going to have positional speed on display. I think he gets the jump on Clubman, who I do think is the horse to beat. Clubman, he's been steady as can be, a model of consistency, this veteran, 10 years old right now, is flopped back and forth between the barns, Robbie and Kieran. He'll sit back maybe a little bit further. He's going to try to run down Musical Heart that last 1/8 of a mile.
You also go with Up Against It and Big Rowdy Dan underneath. The values of 5-2 and 6-1, Rudy Sanchez Salmon with the big 10-pound weight off.
Yeah. This is a horse that's been all over the place, right? And a drop down, I think a touch here. Yeah, works. This might be the group where he can, his numbers have kind of stayed steady. Not as bad. He's just faced tougher competition day in and day out. I like him from a little bit off the pace. We've got a Shipper the 6. You've got in the mix, Hot Pot. The only just slightly negative percentage for Moore coming in here. He's done well with the turfers. The dirt, not quite as well. His horse is in razor sharp form. But up against it, take a look. Alvello, right, riding today. 32%, I think, right now. Is Gene Alvello. So making the most of limited mounts. It's a jockey I've talked about a lot on the show that I think is kind of underrated. Flies under the radar, does a good job, gets you a good ride. Turning back in distance last time, just rolled past, and what I like as well, reeled in a loose leader. Commanding General was clear. It was a horse we liked that day. Up against had nothing. He said, I'm going by, and he did.
There we go. 7-9-4-5 for Keith in the 6th. Race number 7 is a maiden claiming 30,000. 6 furlongs on the dirt. Straight 3-year-old scratch in the 8 in decent behavior. Big enough scratch for me, Keith. You go with the number 3 in Summer State of Mind for Tim Keith. Boyce, this is clearly a duo that has been doing well as of lately.
Yeah, Keith, Boyce, maidens, you name it. A little drop down in class, a slight middle move against better. I think it sets up shop mid-pack again towards the inside. If anybody wants to go, I think definitely Super Needy, who I thought held pretty well against it just outside, but the inner part was good. The money showed for Super Needy. This one's going to go out and definitely be part of that pace flow, but Summer State of Mind to run them down.
And you also go on the inside, a bit of a 15-1 with Restless for Tom Ionati. Maddie Rowland gets the rail here in the 7th.
Race is not as bad as what they appear as well. 4th beaten 8 in debut, Silver Bullet 20. Out of that same race is Summer State of Mind. Then went up there and caught a pretty good horse. Battled, Fade, Parks. I think this horse will take a little bit further back today. That winner came back to run a 75, so I think keying up against the right kind is Restless as a big number to throw into the exacta. Super Needy, the flow in here. Taji Mike, I'll let you touch upon that one. Firster by Long River. Phil Capuano does have 5 winning siblings in that family.
Yes, so just taking, as I just kind of take a scroll here, with this one, of course, Carlos riding well. I went off of the bottom breeding as well. One half sibling, one first out. 2 half siblings were second and win second out. Front half of the race type. So I think you'll see this one pressed up a little bit, which is where I think you see it a little bit in that bullet work going 37 flat. These nice works kind of really jazzing them up in these last couple of runs. Phil Cap with the first time starters, 3-year-old, short but enough, 2 for 7. I want to see more out of these Long Rivers, but I think this one may have a little bit of enough pizzazz and enough on the bottom to support it.
And the other one, Rakia for Brittany Russell. Interesting, in for 30 in debut. Cantheros, stallion I love, year in and year out of a mare that was good. This was a half to Oviatt class. It was in the Breeders' Cup, juvenile, I believe, occasional moon. Might be stealing one here for the maiden 30. We'll see.
Siblings took a couple of tries to get the first win with a trainer who's not exactly the strongest with their first-time starters, as well as the Dam. But the Dam got the win on the first dirt, where Russell kind of just cut to the chase on that. So that's where I kind of go with that.
Yeah, no, I definitely. It's just, why not no protect move in debut right here for the tag? That's interesting for a horse bred like that with the siblings. I thought that were pretty good.
It depends. It also depends too on how she can clock how they're peaking.
Oh,
it
no
depends
doubt.
I'm just saying it depends what comes up on the card. It comes up in the book as well. So maybe you couldn't wait around. Maybe you just wanted to pull the trigger on this one. So there we have it. 3-1-5-2 in race number 7. Race number 8 is an allowance for these girls for and up going 2 turns, 1 mile and 16th. Keith, you go with the number 5 on top. This is, of course, Flower Dew, Lacey Gaudette, first time against winners here today with Ty again.
Yeah, a maze of a race. And I'm looking at it, and when you at first glance, and I'm hoping everybody looks and they see these 70 buyers for some of these other horses, and they really don't see that on Flower Dew. I'm going off the visual. I know the horse that she beat got left at the gate at Penn next time out, didn't run that well at like 1-2 or 1-5. But she was a horse coming in, Riley G for Brittany, that was well meant, was 1-2 I think in that race, and she ran her down. She was just relentless, Flower Dew. Caught in behind horses, shifted out. I thought it sets her up beautifully to go out here to 2 turns looking at the breeding. I think she can get it. She ran to get some good horses down at the fairgrounds on the go back. I think might be the now horse ready to make the next jump in this field. Western Lane encountered trouble. Do we have video of the Rousey Express race, the two?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yep, if we could just give Chris a moment to just get to that last time out for Rousey Express. Jamie Ness, Jamie Rodriguez again.
Yeah, and Western Lane, this is that Bay Street race. Rousey Express, a little stumble out of the gate. We'll see this one more time. She recovers pretty quickly. She got her back on herself and got into position. 3 wide on the 28th, gets taken off the inside, and we know the 28th has marked down as a good rail day. Behind her, what was going on was Western Lane. I should have showed that as well. That's my bad. But she did move up on behind horses and check pretty sharply. She was just kind of got keyed up behind horses. I thought Rousey Express makes the decent run into the loose leader. There's Gilda's Girl down inside who runs pretty well. And even Western Lane in the blinkers behind the horse in the white face. That's Rousey Express. She finishes up, and she's going to run second overall. So all 3 of these horses I thought ran okay. The Haunted Room's in there as well, and Ninja El Barrio. So pick your poison here.
Exactly.
Looking for a little price. I've got the Fresh Face in Flower Dew. If you say, okay, Keith, who's the horse really to beat? Maybe Western Lane, because she's put together a couple good efforts back-to-back, and that trouble was significant.
There we have it, 5-6-2-8 for Keith in the 8th, and we go to the finale here for Friday, and a maiden claiming 12-5, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 4 and 5-year-olds. Keith, you go with the number 6 I have underneath in Bandcamp for Annette Eubanks and Angel Cruz.
Yeah, back and forth. Bandcamp only 0 for 5. Money Room has tried, but I think the road, he's probably going to be the one to catch. I thought Bandcamp just bounced a little bit. Just had no real life last time. Really good off the break, going 6 furlongs. We're going to come back to the sprint today, stalk and move into it. Shouldn't be terribly far back against this group. Target is going to be Where's Ray, who held on okay last time to deep stretch. But I think it's Bandcamp. Money Room, bridge to success. You kind of give him a pass a little bit. He's freshened up, 2 troubled trips. Encouraging recent works is my note here. Looks like he's moving forward. And Mancia's horse, the 5, Nico Lucky. Blinkers off. Only sprint was good. Got beat in nose. I know we're on the go back. But, I think this horse back in for 10. Blinkers off, a little change up at a price. Could hit the board.
Carlos Mancia, 27%. A Barn Trend, 9 for 33 second after a layoff. Helps that. Keith, those are your picks. Let's dive into those a little bit more in our lightning round, of course. You don't have a best bet today, and we were talking about that, but you do have 2 value plays. It's starting off in race number 3 on the number 2 at a price of 6-1 in Kings River for Linda Albert and Forest Boys.
I think we'll hold it an okay number. You've got a good jockey-trainer combination. They're 33% or around that number, close to 30 with a good positive ROI. A horse that went against the bias last time out back to a fast track. A mile can work, and I think, he showed a little bit more signs of life. He had a couple of races where he dropped well back. If he breaks cleanly, Forrest will have this horse relax under a rating hold, probably within a few lengths by the time they hit mid-turn.
In our Jackpot Super High 5 race, you also have a value play in the number 7, 8-1 in Musical Heart with a Tori Alba on.
Yeah, Corrales move when they get hot. They kind of stay hot. This is a horse moving up, a little protect move off a horse that was a scratch a couple weeks ago. I think can get the jump on Clubman. Clubman will be trying to reel him in late. He's got a good late kick here at 7/8 of a mile.
And we just wanted to talk about a new kid in town, in the breeding shed at least. Endorsed comes in for David Wade. Of course, this one won the Hopper, the Gulfstream Park Mile, Grade 2 Mile. This one also, of course, by a world-class sire out of a Grade 1 winning Tappet mare, a half-brother to Cody's Wish. Of course, Endorse will be covering mares March 15th. He's recovering from just an injury. That injury he got prepping for the Pegasus Grade 1 last year, I believe. So there we have it. Of course, new blood. Literally new blue blood in Maryland here, and we are going to leave it to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches. Good luck on this race card.
Good luck, everybody.